Hey there, future philosophers, have you ever stared at the sky and wondered, why is it blue? Or asked, why do we have to go to school? Or even, what if I'm just a character in someone's video game? If so, congratulations! You've already started doing philosophy, which is really just the art of asking smart and curious questions about the world around you. Philosophy sounds like a big, grown-up word, but it simply means love of wisdom. Philo for love and Sophia for wisdom in Greek. So philosophers are basically people who love to think deeply, explore ideas, and never stop asking why about everything that exists. Remember that why game you played when you were little? You'd ask, why does the sun rise? Someone would say, because the earth spins. You'd ask again, why does the earth spin? Because of gravity. And why does gravity exist? And that's when adults suddenly run out of answers and go, that's just how it is. Well, that's exactly where philosophy begins, at the edge of what everyone else stops questioning. Philosophers are kind of like detectives, but instead of solving crimes, they solve mysteries about life and knowledge. A detective looks through a magnifying glass for clues, while a philosopher uses their mind to look for meaning. Detectives ask, who did it? Philosophers ask, why do we do anything at all? One of the greatest thought detectives ever was Socrates, who lived in ancient Greece more than 2,000 years ago. He didn't write books or invent gadgets. He simply walked around Athens asking people tricky questions like, what is justice? What is happiness? And how do you know what you think you know? People found him annoying but also fascinating because he showed that wisdom begins when you admit how much you don't know. Instead of giving answers, he made people think for themselves. That's why his way of asking questions is still called the Socratic method. It asks philosophy through conversation. So what's the difference between philosophy and science? Think of it this way. Science asks, how does it work? While philosophy asks, why does it matter? Science might explain that the Earth goes around the sun, but philosophy wonders, if we're not the center of the universe, does that change how humans see themselves? Science tells us what happens. Philosophy helps us think about what it means. Many people think philosophy is complicated or boring, but honestly, we all do it every single day without realizing it. When you argue with your friends about which game or movie is better, you're discussing values. When you wonder whether it's okay to cheat if nobody gets hurt, you're doing ethics. And when you ask if dreams are real or just in your head, you're exploring existence. Philosophy hides in the most ordinary moments, in the classroom, while daydreaming, even while brushing your teeth and thinking, how do I know the mirror isn't lying? Here's a funny example. One day, a little girl asked her mom, "Mom, why should I be good?" Her mom replied, "Because good kids are loved." The girl thought for a moment and asked, if I'm good only so people love me, am I really good? Boom, a perfect philosophical question, deep, honest, and impossible to answer quickly. That's the beauty of philosophy. It doesn't hand you the answers, it teaches you to search for them yourself. It's about thinking carefully, questioning bravely, and accepting that sometimes not having an answer can still lead to wisdom. After all, it's the questions themselves that make us truly human. Robots can calculate faster than us, but robots don't ask, who am I? Or what makes me happy? Only humans can wonder, imagine, and dream about what things mean. Without those questions, life would be like a game with no story, all action, no purpose. Imagine a world where nobody asked why, no curiosity, no creativity, no art, no inventions, and definitely no memes. Because every amazing discovery or idea starts with someone brave enough to ask, why not? And philosophy isn't just from one place or one culture. In China, Confucius asked, how can people live together peacefully? In India, Buddha asked, how can we end suffering? In Greece, Plato asked, is the world we see really the real world? All these thinkers, from different times and countries, were detectives of thought searching for truth and meaning. So how can you start being a philosopher? It's simpler than you think. Step 1. Ask questions, even the weird ones. Step 2. Think before you decide what's true or false, because sometimes a silly idea hides a deep truth. Step 3. Listen to others, because everyone sees the world from a different angle, and sometimes someone else's view can complete the picture. For example, imagine you and your friend looking at a glass of water. You say, "It's half full," and your friend says, "It's half empty." Neither of you is wrong. You just see things differently. Philosophy helps you understand why people think differently and how to talk about it without turning it into a fight. The moment you start asking why instead of just saying because they said so, you're already thinking like a philosopher. You don't need a cape, a wand, or a magic school, just a curious mind and a heart that loves to understand how everything connects. And guess what? Philosophy doesn't just make you smarter. It makes you happier too, because when you understand yourself, why you get angry, what makes you sad, what brings you joy, you start seeing life as a fascinating mystery instead of a confusing mess. So next time someone says, "Philosophy is confusing," just smile and tell them, "Nope, I'm just thinking like a detective." And get ready for our next adventure, where we'll ask one of the trickiest questions ever: what is truth? Can you really trust your eyes? See you in episode 2, Young Philosopher.